Hello, this is Greg Simpico again with another video about sugar. We keep going for the sugar. This one is going to be about how sugar affects pain. Now, for you to understand that, I have to sort of lay a little foundation about pain itself. And I'm talking mainly about chronic pain, not the kind of pain that happens when you bang your elbow or whatever, but I'm talking about chronic pain. Now, research has shown that pain is actually located in your brain. So you can have pain in your thumb, but it expresses itself up here. So brain is all about having pain. So you don't feel pain until it gets to your brain. It's a nice little rhyme. Now, there's a part of your brain that modulates pain, modulates feeling, whether touch, my socks, my pants, my underwear. It modulates that feeling because you're getting all kinds of sensations going to your brain. And this part of the brain has to sort of categorize the senses, saying this is important, this is not important. And that occurs in the brain stem right here in a part called the PMRF, or pontomedullary reticular formation. Now, I know you all have heard me talk about that before, but what's interesting about the PMRF is that there are sort of nerves that say go and nerves that say don't go. All right, so it's sort of a dance that occurs in the brainstem where it gets a sensation and it says, oh, that's from the sock. We don't need the brain to feel that, so it puts it away. Or it gets another sensation, oh, the toe is hurting because it got banged. The brain should know about that. Now, what they've discovered is that in chronic pain, in other words, I injured my elbow playing tennis, and in 6 weeks that should heal. But with chronic pain, it's there a lot longer. It comes and goes. It's easier for you to hurt it, that type of stuff. That occurs in your brain, and that's something broken in that modulating area of your brain called the PMRF. Okay, so the foundation is that we feel pain in our brain, and it's modulated by the brainstem, the PMRF. Now let's bring sugar into the mix. Now sugar is detrimental to brain cells. Now I talked about the PMRF and how it's decreased in its production, how if you have a lot of sugar, your memory is not very good, you can't learn as well, that type of stuff. But in actuality as well, nerve cells are damaged by sugar. Too much sugar will kill nerve cells. Now, what happens when a collection of nerve cells in the brainstem, which are responsible for feeling and modulating pain, they start to die off because you're eating too much sugar? You're not going to modulate pain very well. You're not going to modulate feeling very well because there's not enough nerves in there. Now, the thing about the brain and nerves is that it's all about inhibiting the nerves from firing, from giving off information. So our nervous system is set up to be inhibitory. What does that mean? If you have a collection of nerves, let's say for instance, you have right over here, you have a bunch of nerves in your frontal lobe that inhibits activity in what you call the midbrain, which then allows this to function normally. So it's inhibiting things. So if any of that part of the chain is broken because there are less nerves to do the inhibition, less nerves to be active, what you have is a failure of the function of that part of the brain. Now, what's also interesting is that this here is called the little brain, or the cerebellum, okay, which is closely related to the brain stem. Now, the nerves in the brainstem and the cerebellum are particularly sensitive to alcohol. What happens to alcohol? It turns into sugar. So these are very sensitive to sugar, which makes them more susceptible to being damaged by sugar. What does that mean? That means that this part of the brain is not functioning very well, and sensation that comes from your body can get distorted and can get changed and can be painful. So there is a lot of research about where chronic pain is coming from, but not enough as to say why there's chronic pain there. You have elbow pain, after 6 weeks it's still there or it keeps coming back, that's chronic pain. And that shows up in your brain. And that could be a breakdown of this part of your brain. That's Dr. Greg, changing the way we look at health.